Hey everybody, it's Doug here, Doug Mystic on Board Game Geek, bringing you a new playthrough. And as you saw, this time we were playing Bsieged, Sons of the Abyss by Cool Mini or Not, and not Guillotine Games, but somebody else. I gotta remember who it is. Oh, Second Gate Games. We are going to be playing a 4-player game. Basically, we're going to control 4 players, and in Besieged, you are defending a keep with interior places, locations to visit, while creatures are attempting to besiege the keep. And what you have to do is we have to get this messenger out and have him return. This is the miniature for our messenger. And if he can get out and return within 12 turns, then the armies of the king will come and help defeat the enemies and we will win. But if we lose all of our heroes or the messenger's killed, or well, not if he's killed, but if he can't make it back in 4 turns, or sorry, 12 turns, then we lose the game. The game is played over 4 seasons, in which each season we have 3 turns. Boom. And we're going to have, and this is basically telling us what we do on each turn. We're going to replenish some cards and put some new monsters out at the end of every season. But for the season we're going to end up going along, where at the end of the season we have to pay for our cost in food. This is spring, summer, fall, winter. And if we can make it to here and the messenger has gotten back by then we win. Now, as I understand it, if the messenger has not made it off the board by here, I don't think you can win, so we have to track that. But that is basically the concept of the game. There's lots of nuance to it and lots of stuff going on. I'm almost tempted just to finish setup with you and just get playing, but I think first I will introduce you to our characters. Here are our first 2 characters. Way up at the top we have Ilene the Archer, and this is her miniature. Pretty nice. She has the special ability of precise shot. She has a easier chance to hit in zone 2. She also has what's called Falcon Sight, and basically an easier chance to hit in zone 3. We'll talk about those later. And we'll talk about how these cards work. You'll just see it in gameplay. You can see I already have them set up with a gold token here on the starting spot, their morale and their food, their bread token right there. Food is important. It helps you level up. It also is something we have to spend at the end of a season. Then we have Kador the Sorcerer. He's got Arch Mastery +1. He gets the bonus to card at the Sorcery Tower. He's a wizard, and you can see all their stats start out basically the same in this group because these are 4 of the base game characters. So those are our first 2 characters, and then we have Orobox the Mercenary. He's a pretty tough looking guy, big, wielding this massive spiked axe. His special ability is Intimidation. He gets +1 card at the tavern. And then our Paladin down here, Osvith, the Paladin. He's pretty cool looking too. He's got a big lance in his hand. He's got Martial Mastery. He gets a bonus to attack zone 1. That's the zone that's right up against the keep. And then he also gets Refined Swordsmanship. He can add a dice. One or the other. He can't do both in the same round, I believe. But anyway, this is going to be, as is normal for me, this is a learning game for us. I have read the rules, I've watched videos, I've played a little bit just to make sure I have the basic concepts down. But you are learning the meat of the game with me. And to that end, we do have to finish a big part of the setup. I'll show you what that is, and then we can basically get started. So here we have one of the boards where we're going to be besieging the keep. You can see that we have these spawn points. We're going to have to draw cards for each one of those from our enemy deck, and this is going to dictate what's going to spawn in this area. You see this black die. So every turn, at the end of every turn, we're going to roll to see how many creatures or what type of creature spawns where. They're all going to come in this last zone and move forward. That's basically how we spawn each turn. Now at the end of the season, then we replace these cards and new ones come out. Now you also see this track here. This is for a big giant beastie that could come out. He's got a health of 10. He's pretty nasty. This also, each zone tells you what you can do or what is in effect here. So you get the idea. Basically it's a 4 or better to hit in zone 1, 5 and better to hit in zone 2, and 6 or better to hit in zone 3. This one, if we spawn the, I can't remember what the names of them are specifically, I have to tell you. I believe it's the, let's see, yeah, the Mullins here, they're the 3-star one that you can see right here. They will be able to attack from zone 3, and then you have the zone 2 guys, which are the Gargons. You'll see what they all look like. And then the ones that attack from zone 1 are the standard Krons. Now we're also going to spawn the elites for every. If we spawn basically 3 creatures, one of them is going to be an elite, or 4 creatures, one of them will be an elite. And that's how that's going to work. I'm playing kind of a medium difficulty, which means I'll probably lose, especially considering this is a learning game. But being an experienced gamer, I thought that was okay. So what we have to do first, again, is spawn, and we have this enemy deck, along with a number of other decks that are going to, we have to finish fleshing out. You can see that the enemy deck is up here. This is our Armory cards, Tavern cards, and Market cards and Sorcery cards. Now, one of the things we do to set up, and at the beginning of the turn every season, we're going to draw enough of these cards to fill here for the number of players. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, and 4 Armory cards. Yes, they still stay face down, and unless we're told otherwise, we draw from this pile. That pile can run out, so we're going to do the same thing here. 2, 3, 4. Same here. 3, 4 down the first turn. We're not going to draw an event card, so we don't have to worry about that. 3 and 4, but we do have to get 3 enemy cards for the tile, the first tile we're going to place on. So there are 3 enemy cards, and let's see what we get. This is a pretty big board. We'll have to see how this goes. So we got Gargons. Uh-oh. Hold on. I shuffled these, but apparently I never get to shuffle them well enough. I'm going to leave those guys out, but I'm going to give it another shuffle. Okay, so what do we get next? We get Mullins, and we got all 3 of this time. Okay, so we get Bam and Bam. Those are the ones we have in that zone. So we're going to populate the rest of the board that way, and I'm just going to do that off camera, and then we're going to spawn. So basically how we spawn these, to give you examples, we're going to roll this die here. Let's say, okay, so we roll an A. So we're going to start off with Gargons. Now, how many do we get? Well, we're in the springtime, so we're going to get 4 of them. And so that means 3 regular ones and an elite. Okay, so this is what it looks like. We got our elite Gargos, and then we have our 3 regular ones. Now, some things about their stats. You can see that symbol right there shows that they attack from rank 2, and this is their standard defense and strength. So you can see the elites 2-2 and the standards are 1-1. The Mullins, they don't have an elite; they just are bad. So they have a defense of 1 and a defense of 3 and a strength of 1, but they can attack from range 3. So luckily we didn't have them come out right away. That wouldn't be great. But then we're going to keep going. So I'm going to populate the board off camera, and then we'll come back. So over in this zone here, you see that we got 2 Krons and a Mullin, and we got a Mullin out there. So it came out over here. That's bad because we got to take care of that thing quickly. This is on the south wall. The one we started with was on the west wall. Up over on the east side, Bsieged, we have 5 of the 5 Krons and an elite Kron there that are marching toward the wall. It takes them a little while to get there, so it's probably our safest zone at the moment. And then up on the north side, you see that we have another another Mullin there. So those are bad. We got to get rid of those guys absolutely first because they will damage things rather quickly when the enemies get to it. Now, what is the turn order? How does this work? So let's talk about that. This is the back of the rulebook. It shows the setup. Now, it says in the events, advanced time token, move the first player token, player to his left, discard current events, reveal new event. Now, we're not going to do any of that in the first turn. Then we have the messenger's turn. We're going to place the messenger. We're just going to place him. He's not going to move. Placing him is his move this turn. And then we're going to have the enemy spawning, which we already did. We have the hero phase. That means we're going to do all the hero stuff that we have to do. Now, because in the beginning of the game, we do get to pick where the messenger is going to head towards. And I believe we're probably going to head him towards north, up that way. And the part of the reason is I'll tell you why a little later. Then we go to the enemy's tactics phase, and then we go to the, of course, then things happen at the end of the season. So we're going to have a couple of turns before the end of the season comes. But that's basically the gameplay, and then it shows you a little bit about the monsters as well. Yeah, so that's on the back, and it also shows targeting preference. So we got to do all that good stuff. Fun, fun, fun in the sun. But now we do have to place we're going to start with our heroes. Now, they get played right away, but the first thing we have to do is get our messenger on the board. And since we're still focused there on the north side of the game board, we are going to place him right here. He is heading down that way. We need to get him off the board in one turn. So that basically concludes the setup. There's a bunch of other things, like you'll see them during gameplay. So like I said, I'm not going to spend a ton of time talking about how the game works. You're going to get to see that in action. But just to talk about the board a little bit. In this center board, we're going to have our heroes. Now, there are color bases for the heroes, but they're distinct enough. I'm not going to worry about them. I can tell who's who. You see that there's different locations that we can also visit. There's the catapult in the middle, which is currently facing north. When you turn the catapult, you have to roll a die to see. Now, you could actually break the catapult for the turn, but otherwise you're just going to kill things, and that's cool. But then there's also the sorcery tower, which we draw cards from these various areas. Not all of them are drawing cards, though. So we have the sorcery tower, the market, and the armory, and the tavern where we draw cards. The barn is we're going to roll a D3. It's a special die, right here, gold die, that gives us bread that we can use for our end of the season feeding or to level up. And then over here you see the sanctuary. You have a choice of one bread and one what they call a divine favor token. I'm using the ones from the game. They're these little stars, but there's these +1 little tokens, and they give you a bonus to a die roll. Okay, and then you also have the palace over here where you get to roll the same D3, and that gives you gold. And then gold can be used to use abilities or buy things, etc. So if we also have a first player token. So currently, Ilene is going to be the first player token. The first player token is a sword and stone. I think that's kind of cool. But she's going to be first player, and we're going to get on her actions immediately. Let's get started and just get around it and see how it goes. So once again, we've already got the initial setup done. So we're going to focus on the middle of the board right now because Ilene's going to take some actions there first. Every hero gets 3 actions that they can take during a turn unless something happens. Most heroes, except for Orobox, have a current strength value of 1, which means if they hit, they destroy one. They do 1 point of damage, killing one thing. Yep. So and you have to meet or overcome their defense to do the damage, to kill them basically. And if you overcome their defense, they just die. So we know that, for example, the big guy up in the top, he's got a defense of 3. So none of our characters without a device or something could currently kill him. What can kill him is the catapult. Anyway, let's start Ilene's turn. So the first thing that Ilene is going to do actually is she's going to visit. So she starts the game with 3 bread right now. And 1 gold. And I think what she's going to do first, for her first action, is I think she's going to visit the... Oh man, I'm debating on a visit to the sanctuary or the palace for some money. I think for this turn, she's going to... Yeah, let's see. I think maybe she's going to go to the armory. And I'll tell you what, if we can get a weapon that can kill that bad guy over there, that would be very good. Or we can go to the sanctuary and get it and skill up and see if we can get something that would help us there. But that will cost us 2 bread. Let's start with the armory. So for her first action, she is going to the armory, where she will get to draw an armory card. So we get to draw the top card from here. Now remember, this is our light crossbow right off the bat. It is a strength of 2. And it needs a roll 2 dice in your attack actions. That's pretty good, as this is a permanent item. And you can see that it cannot be used in Zone 1, but it can be used in Zone 2 and 3. This is just about perfect for her, so we are going to place that in her slot right there, and that's going to be her weapon that she can use. That was her first of 3 actions. So for her second action, she is going to pop in here to the catapult, and we're going to take a shot at this Mullen with the catapult. So first we have to roll a die. We don't have to turn it, so we don't have to roll that. She's just shooting it. Now if she turned it, she can turn it up to 90 degrees, but it takes an action. So since we're not doing that, we're just shooting it. We're going to roll the die, and hopefully we roll. Well, now in this die, all we have to do is roll a 1. It doesn't matter what their armor is. If the catapult hits them, they die. So let's see what we get. Well, we got a 3. So we definitely popped this big guy off the board. He is taken out. And for doing that, she gets, which is going to grant her another morale, so she's at 6. Now, when you use the catapult, you just get 1 no matter how many points of damage you do. But if you, normally you get, and it doesn't matter how many enemies you kill, you just get 1. But if you attack enemies directly, you can get more than 1. But that's what she got for firing the catapult. And then for her third action, she does not want to take up a building space, so she's going to clamber off to this wall over here, where she's going to use her special ability Falcon Sight to take a shot way down on those guys and see if she can kill one of the crones that are there. So I could have had her go after the Gorgons. You know, they actually hit at range 2. So I think we're going to, actually, I believe we're going to change this. She's actually ran across to the other side, where she's going to try and take out, now she can't take out the elite first, she's got to take out the regular units first. So let's see, she still has to roll a 5 or better. She rolls a 6, so she succeeded in killing another enemy, which is going to earn her another morale. Good for her. Ilene has had off to a good start. Now, the reason that she was able to kill this, and I'll just show you on the card here, is that you can see that the Gargons have the standard Gargons have a 1 defense. So as long as she equals or betters the 1 defense, she kills it. But the other ones, when they move up, they're going to be able to attack next turn. So I figured we need to try and take one of those down as quickly as possible. But that actually ends her actions. So next up we would move on to Khador. Now Khador's still on his character card. Here's Khador's miniature. We're going to go take his actions and see what we can get done with him. So Khador needs spells. So for his first action, I think he's going to go here, and he's going to grab a sorcery card. Now, he is the Arch Mastery of Sorcery, so he gets to draw 2 cards from here and keep them, I believe. So we get, these cards are what they call, oh, this is not good because he can't actually, I got to look and see what he can do here. These are, you got Arcane Flare and Blinding Radiance. These are going to, these are one-time use effects, so once he uses them, they're gone. He can put those in most of his slots because he is a spellcaster. And I'll tell you what how the slots work. The problem is these are both red, and he only has a slot for 1 red spell. Or 1 red item. So I think we're probably going to take the Arcane Flare. Unfortunately, it's going to discard the other one, which leaves us less sorcery cards. We can keep both, but I don't think... Let me think about that for a moment. So it says if he can't store it or use it immediately. So he can, maybe what we do, because this one can operate in Zone 1 or Zone 2, this one operates in all zones. It says units in this zone do not advance. So we could throw that on the, yeah, but he just acquired this, and he can't use it right now. Let me think. Yeah, sadly he's going to have to get rid of one of these cards. So I think this one, this Blinding Radiance, while it won't kill them, it'll stop them from advancing in the enemy phase, and that means they won't... Yeah, so what we're going to do is we're going to discard this one, this Arcane Flare. Unfortunately, that gets discarded into the... and I'm just putting them underneath the sorcery cards for now. And we're going to keep this Blinding Radiance, which is currently going to go in this slot, but it's not going to stay there for long. But for his second action, he is going to go here, and we're going to try and get some gold out of this, because we need some money. Nice, he got 3 gold. Which puts us up to 4, which is awesome. And then for his last action, he's going to pop up to this wall, and he's going to play his Blinding Radiance card, which costs him one of his gold and will prevent these guys from moving, advancing in this zone for this round. So now we're going to clear that at some point, but yeah, so that was a really good effect for him. So he jumped up there and threw that spell. Now these guys won't advance, because if they advance to here, they get to attack, and we don't want that. Now it just means that we're going to end up spawning more here, and that's going to be problematic for us later. But at least it's a good stalling tactic. Anyway, that's the end of Khador's turn. So now we have Orobox the Mercenary. Let's think about what he's going to do. So Orobox the Mercenary, the first thing he's going to do is go to the Armory and draw an Armory card. Hopefully he gets a good weapon. He gets Logs. It's a massive attack. Okay, you can see that it's also a one-use item. Can go in Zone 1 or Zone 2. That's not what we're looking for. It says, in your attack action, roll 4 dice against each affected zone you hit with a 4+. And there it shows the different things. You see that we cannot hit Zone 3. And it does 3 damage, but it costs 3 gold. So he'll put that in his inventory slot right here. That was his first action. It doesn't cost him any money till he tries to use it, and he needs some money. But we're actually going to go here first. He's going to spend 2 bread at the Sanctuary. So his bread goes down to 1, and then he gets to draw 2 level 1 tokens. Now what I'm talking about here is, you see these levels here. We can level up our characters, and you can see that it shows a bread symbol on it with a 2. That means the first time we level it costs 2 bread, second time it's 3, 4, and 5. So this time we're going to draw 2 tokens. Those tokens come from here, so we get to draw the 2 top ones. Now what we can always do is give ourselves another strength point, but let's see what we got. We got Archer's Discipline and Stoicism. Stoicism is pretty good. It means that he does not have to spend, I think he only spends 1 bread. I don't know if it's 1 or none, but that I think is what we're going to take. Even though he could, with a strength of 2, he's still not going to be able to kill the big guy. So yeah, that's not great for us. But anyway, I think we're going to discard this one, and we're going to take Stoicism, which goes in his slot right there. Good for him. For his final action, he's going to head up to the wall with the other folks here, and he's going to take a shot at these guys back here. Now, he has a strength of 2, so he can kill any one of them, even the elite. He won't, because he's got to kill the regular ones first. But he will be able to, he has to roll a 6. So let's see if he can pull that off. A 5. He missed. So if these guys were in Zone 2, he would have hit and killed one, but he didn't. So he missed there, and that was the end of his turn. Now we're going to take the turn of Osvith the Paladin. That's him right there. Unfortunately, his turn is not going to be what he wants to do. So the first thing he's going to do is go to the catapult. And I believe that I believe you can only turn it 90 degrees, but I'm going to double check that. No, that's not true. You just have to orient it. So he is flipping it around here and orienting it right there. Then he's going to roll a die, and he hopefully he didn't break it, so he gets to shoot it now. So this is the first action. His second action is going to go to there. He's going to shoot, see if we can knock this guy down. We have to roll this die. If we roll any hits, we succeed, and we got 3 hits, so we took him out. That is good, because that means he won't attack the wall. That gives Osvith a morale, which is great, and he's still got 1 action left. For his last action, what will he do? I think he's going to go to the Armory as well. So for his final action, he's going to go there. We're going to draw an Armory card for him, and it is Support Beams. So we can place this to reinforce, place 1 reinforced token on a building. That is useful, because that means it was not destroyed as easily. That will go in his slot right here. And that basically ends the turn of the heroes. Unfortunately, that means we're going to the bad guys phase. So the first thing we do on this phase is we trigger the cards. Now remember, we had this blinding radiance. We blinded these guys, so that card gets triggered. This gets discarded, and these guys will not move this turn. So the next thing we would do is we would attack. Now, because there's nobody within range, nobody's going to attack, so then the third thing we would do is move them. Now we know because of this spell, they are not going to move. So that gets discarded as well. I'm going to get that into the deck. And we do have some movement, though. So we had a pretty solid first turn, mainly because we just had those big mullions on the walls and not backed up by a lot of the troops. But we do have some movement that's going to take place. And that is going to be here because all of these guys advanced unhindered toward the wall. So we're going to have to get on that next turn. Now, the biggest problem is he is consuming the armory, so no one can go back to the armory this turn. There's only one card left there for the turn, though. And so now we're going to go to our end phase. Now, it is not the end of the season, so the only thing we don't do anything at that point. That's just the end of the round. Next time we're going to pick up, the first thing we're going to do is going to advance the token, and then the messenger is going to move. Yeah, we move the player. We move the player token. We would draw an event. Then the messenger moves, and then we have enemy spawns. So that is the way it's going to go next time we connect on this game, which will be soon. So I hope you enjoyed our launch episode. I hope I didn't make too many mistakes. Again, I'm learning this game. I don't think I did. It's pretty straightforward, though. Everybody I've seen talk about this game says it's extremely hard to win. So we'll see if we can do that or not. Now, what's interesting is if you roll the same number on this 3 times in a row, then this big dude comes out and comes after us, and he's bad. He's got 10 hits, and we have to spend a lot of time focusing on killing him. But we do have some cool stuff we can do next turn. We're getting off to a good start. So again, this is Bsieged by Cool Mini or Not, and whatever that company's name is, Second Gate. Yeah, that's what it's called, which is cool because this game is neat. I like it. I like the concepts of it. We'll see how it plays out. There are also a lot of other characters. I just picked 4 from the base game, but when I got my Kickstarter, I got a bunch of other characters that came in the game. They're all got neat minis with them too, if I can get around to painting some of these cool minis I've collected. You know, the ones I want to paint are actually, again, from Cool Mini or Not, are the Arcadia Quest minis and also some of the Zombie Side minis, but man, I just don't have the time. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. I hope to get this posted soon for you so you can get started on it, and thanks again. Bye-bye.